What if you're taking the time to do your home exercises once a day and you're like, yes, Desiree, I'm doing so good. I'm going to the gym daily, or I'm doing my exercises daily, which kudos to you, because that is so hard to show up for consistently, and that is awesome. But this thing we're going to talk about today is something I think is even more beneficial than showing up to do your exercises once a day or going to the gym once a day. And this doesn't mean I'm downplaying going to the gym or taking time to exercise and work out. Definitely not. But this is for those busy mamas or busy people that just feel like they can't even get anything in. This is the thing I want you to get in because it's super easy and it can be such a game changer. Because what if you're taking the time? Like I said, you're doing the exercise every day. You're going and doing your breath work and you're doing the things, right? You're taking the time, you're doing the things. But if you aren't rewiring your brain to breathe differently, move differently, feel differently, which you can rewire your brain on how you feel. If you're not doing that piece, then your muscles might not even if you've been working them out and they've been getting stronger, they might not even turn on when you want them to, making them kind of a pointless muscle. You've got this really strong core, but it just doesn't turn on when or how it should. So what's the point? So this is a habit that I want you guys to start implementing today that is just going to make such a big difference for you. Hey, I'm your host, Dr. Desiree Cassell. I'm an orthopedic and pelvic floor physical therapist specializing in women's health, aka pelvic floor. I'm a wife, mom of 3, foodie, lover of all things movement and nature, and I'm super passionate about educating, empowering, and supporting other women like you to find and maintain balance throughout all aspects of their lives, without pain, pressure, or peeing their pants. And this is the Balanced Momtality Podcast, where we will talk about all things pelvic floor, your core, and optimizing your pregnancy, birth, and postpartum recovery, providing you with the knowledge and tools so that you can feel like the strong, playful, and happy mom that you and your family deserve. Now let's get you out of those pads and back to loving movement. Fill up your water, pop in those AirPods, roll out your mat, and let's connect. Before we start today's episode, just a quick disclaimer that anything mentioned in this podcast is not meant to treat or diagnose any medical conditions. If you have any questions or concerns about your healthcare needs, please seek the care of your medical provider. This is also a safe space where we will be talking about very sensitive but important topics, such as issues with peeing and pooping, relationships, and even sex. So if you have littles around, probably a good idea to pop those AirPods in. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hey friend, I hope you've been enjoying the show if you've been here for a while. And if you're new, I'm so glad that you chose to join me here today. And I hope that you find this episode inspiring and helpful. And feel free to just go back and binge any of the episodes that I have in this show. So many good things from pelvic floor health, restoring that core system, prenatal fitness, postpartum recovery, pelvic organ prolapse, pain with intercourse, nutrition, herbal medicine. There's so much packed into this show that is just so good. And I've been having some awesome guests on the show lately. So make sure you check those episodes out as well if you haven't. But this week, I'm just going to do a quick little episode here to just chat about something that I've been doing for the last couple years, and that it's something I have all of my patients doing, because this is just one of those things that if we can build this habit in, which one of my last interviewers was a habit coach. So if you haven't listened to it, go check it out, because this is a habit that I want you guys to start implementing today that is just going to make such a big difference for you. Because what if you're taking the time to go to the gym? What if you're taking the time to do your home exercises once a day and you're like, yes, Desiree, I'm doing so good. I'm going to the gym daily, or I'm doing my exercises daily, which kudos to you, because that is so hard to show up for consistently, and that is awesome. But This thing we're going to talk about today is something I think is even more beneficial than showing up to do your exercises once a day or going to the gym once a day. And this doesn't mean I'm downplaying going to the gym or taking time to exercise and work out. Definitely not. But this is for those busy mamas or busy people that just feel like they can't even get anything in. This is the thing I want you to get in because it's super easy and it can be such a game changer. Because what if you're taking the time? Like I said, you're doing the exercise every day. You're going and doing your breath work and you're doing the things, right? You're taking the time, you're doing the things. But if you aren't rewiring your brain to breathe differently, move differently, feel differently, which you can rewire your brain on how you feel. If you're not doing that piece, then your muscles might not even if you've been working them out and they've been getting stronger, they might not even turn on when you want them to, making them kind of a pointless muscle. You've got this really strong core, but it just doesn't turn on when or how it should. So what's the point? Yes, at the gym, you can do all these crazy planks and exercises, but maybe when you're picking up your kid, your back is still killing you because you're not getting the right motor plan engaged. You don't have the wiring in your brain to turn things on when they're supposed to. Maybe you're doing all this beautiful breath work at the end of the day every day and you're like, yes, I'm doing it. But then throughout the day, you're breathing super shallow and you're tense and you're stressed and you're clenching everything. It's really going to be like a 2-step forward, 1-step back scenario. Your progress will be slow, which is why I think that this habit we're going to talk about today can be such a game changer. And it's just the beginning, right? Like this is not a one end all be all habit. This is not you're going to fix everything by doing this. No, but it's a foundational piece. And what this is a body check. It's what I call it. It's a body check. It's kind of like a reset. And this piece is there to rewire the brain. This is not to get sore. This is not to get all the tension and pain away by doing this immediately. Like that's not what this is doing. But what this is doing is having your brain become aware of your body multiple times a day. So I think it's great to set an alarm every hour to do this body check so that you're checking in, becoming aware, having your brain go, oh, how am I right now? Is this supposed to be where I'm at? Should I be breathing this way? Should I be sitting this way? Should I be moving this way? Should I be clenching this muscle this way? So that we can start to actually rewire that brain patterning and the motor control throughout your body, both with what's turning on, how you're holding yourself, how you're moving your body. We're making those muscles do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. And so what this body check entails is 3 pieces. The first piece is breathing. So yes, you're going to check in with your breath every hour. And maybe you're doing this as an alarm set for every hour, or maybe you're stacking this onto just habits that you already are doing all the time. Maybe you have a door frame in your house that you walk through a lot and you use that as a trigger to check in and do that body check. Maybe every time you're at your kitchen sink washing your hands, if that's somewhere you're there a lot, that's where you're doing your body check. Maybe it's after a certain meeting at work that you have regularly, and right? So we can stack this on to different parts of our day, or you can just set that alarm every hour so that you are checking in, because once or twice just isn't enough. When it comes to rewiring the brain and neuroplasticity, which is really what that is, right? Neuroplasticity is just the ability of the brain to change and adapt, which is so freaking cool, because if we're not addressing this piece, we're really missing out. The cool part is we can rewire, or what we call remap, our brain within like 2 weeks. But what that means is you have to be super consistent and you have to be picky about what you're showing up for, because otherwise it's not going to rewire that quickly. It'll take a lot longer than that. But as we're checking in with that breath, we want to see, where is the breath? Is it in your chest? Where is it going when you're first inhaling? Is it getting down into that core system at all? And hopefully at this point, if you're this far into my podcast, you already know about the breath work. And if not, please go back and listen. There are so many episodes on breath work, why it's important, how to do it, all the amazing great things it does for you, different breathing exercises you can do, so much on breathing. So I'm not going to go into all of that right now, but I just want you to start checking in with your breath. Because obviously when I have people come in here and they're, I'm like, okay, so let's look at your breathing. Take 3 deep breaths. They know I'm watching, right? So their breath is going to look different. I know it's different than what it normally is for them. But for some people, it's still super shallow. And I'm like, yep, okay, we've got a lot of work to do, because even with me here, you can't get it down into the core. But even if you're someone that goes, yeah, see, when I intentionally breathe, it's okay. But what is it doing for you automatically? Because especially if you're someone who has a stressed out job, or you've got just such a packed to-do list that it's so go, 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 you just might feel so stressed all the time and not recognize that your breath is all in your chest. And maybe you're even getting those shoulders rising with you. So just check in with your breath and reset it by taking 3 of those super deep, slow breaths. Remember, we're trying to inhale from the bottom up. We're trying to fill up that pelvic bowl, our back, our sides, our belly, and yes, our rib cage and our chest. We need those ribs to expand as well. We don't want them to be the first or only place that breath is going. So just start checking in with that breath. Take a couple of those deep resetting breaths to help the brain go, oh yeah, we're supposed to breathe like this. That also helps your nervous system reset, because those deep breaths trigger the diaphragm, which triggers and stimulates the vagus nerve and our parasympathetic nervous system, helping with rest and digestion and stress and muscle tone. So there's so many great benefits in that breathing, and you'll feel an instant melting. So just a quick reminder of breath. I'm going to take a deep breath with you now just to walk you through it if you would like to take one with me. So you're going to inhale nice and slow for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hold here for a couple seconds and then exhale slowly for a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can even extend that out to 8. Those longer exhales really chill the nervous system out. And if you don't feel just a big weight off your chest after doing those breaths, then you're probably not doing them slow enough. Okay, so just take that into account as you're doing this reset. So the second thing with the breath that I want you to check into is your posture. So this is something, right, where most of us don't sit right, don't stand right. We slouch. We've got that terrible tech neck and our forward head posture, and it's just not good. Our culture is a lot of sitting, a lot of slouching. And so when it comes to posture, as a physical therapist, one of the sayings we love to have is the next posture is the best posture. And what that means is that we're just supposed to be moving. We're moving creatures. We're mobile creatures. We shouldn't be in one position for too long. But again, we have sedentary lifestyles a lot now with these jobs, sitting at a desk and computer meetings all day long. And so it's so important to check in with your posture. Because yeah, like I said, maybe you're at the gym working out and your posture looks great while you're lifting and while you're exercising. But then 90% of the time while you're at your desk, you're slouched and hunched over. And then you wonder why you have neck and back pain or chest pain, okay? So if we can screen our posture and also tell our nervous system, no, this isn't where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be here. Then it'll, help your brain go, oh yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. Not slouched and hung over, letting all of my muscles just relax. No, I'm supposed to turn these muscles on a little bit and hold me here. That also will help build that postural strength, and it starts to get your joints moving because you're not just stuck and stiff in one position. So when we do our postural check, we want to really screen from the bottom up. We're trying to make sure that you're feeling grounded through the feet, through that tripod of your pinky toe, big toe, and heel. We want to make sure your knees are not locked. They are slightly bent in a neutral position. Your pelvis is in neutral, meaning that you have equal weight in under your sit bones. You can extend into an anterior tilt and also tuck into a posterior tilt. You are not stuck at either range in the pelvis. So you have that pelvis in a nice neutral position. And then we're stacking the rib cage directly on top of that, thinking of a nice tall string through that ponytail line, pulling you up nice and tall. That stacks the rib cage on the pelvis and helps the core system turn on. It helps manage pressure well, so you're not just shoving pressure down onto the pelvic floor by slouching. It opens up the chest and improves stability of the neck and spine. So posturing is super important to take pressure off and make sure your core is showing up correctly. So breath work, posture, and then the last piece that you're going to check in with is that tension. So clenching of any kind, especially in the abs or the glutes or the jaw, can really increase that tone in the pelvic floor. The jaw specifically, when we're clenching the jaw, there is a fascial connection there, and that pulls on the pelvic floor. So if you have TMJ issues, or you clench a lot, or you know that you have upper neck stiffness from clenching, that can tell a lot about the tone of your pelvic floor. So just checking in with this system head to toe, because even if you're scrunching your forehead or your shoulders are elevated, those signs of external stress and tension and tightness can be a cue of where your system is at. Because if you're feeling tense, your system is tense, right? So if we can relax those shoulders, drop them away from the ears, relax the forehead, soften the jaw, make your belly relax and hang out. We're not gripping and sucking in all day. You're not clenching those glutes. You're shaking those out. Let all the tension go. Then we can tell the nervous system to chill, that we're not going to clench our abs when we're sitting in the car. I don't know why mine likes to do this. When I'm sitting in the car, my abs will clench and I have to check in and go, relax. Okay, so the breath is a great way to help relax that tension. So when you take those deep breaths, you might already feel a lot of that tension release, but I think it's good to still screen head to toe so that you can physically and mentally feel and release any tension that you have throughout your body. Letting that nervous system tone drop relaxes the muscles, lets them move and work for you better. The breath is functioning for you as it should, managing pressure throughout the core, so that when you do go exercise or pick up that heavy baby, you don't even really have to think about it as hard because your brain already knows what and when it's supposed to turn things on. So just a recap of this body check, you're going to screen your breath, you're going to check your posture, and you're going to release any tension that you might be feeling. And set an alarm for this, because I think we can have the best intentions of doing this and then get to the end of the day and go, oh yeah, I did that once. And just remember, that's just not enough. So for this type of thing, more often and for short periods of time is much better than doing a ton of breath work and posture work and tension release for like 10-15 minutes at the end of the day. Okay, so just checking in here and there throughout the day with your body, with your tension, checking your posture and your breathing so that you can really start to rewire and make those changes last and not just be when you're exercising or putting time in to do your home exercise program. Okay, so I know this is kind of a quick and dirty episode, but this is just something I think can be such a game changer for us. And again, rewiring that brain pattern and helping our body just feel good, relaxing pain and tension, especially if you're someone who gets headaches throughout the day or pain throughout the day because you're sitting and posturing or breathing tight all day, right? So if we can catch that here and there throughout the day, it's really going to compound. A little bit goes a long way. We do not have to set out 30 minutes, 45 minutes to do exercise to get a reduction in our pain and improve our strength. Just getting some of these rewiring and body check moments in throughout the day will really help the resiliency in your system. It'll help the connections in your system. And it'll make it so that you're getting a way bigger bang for your buck when you are showing up for your exercises. So let me know what you thought of this episode over at the Balanced Momtality Wellness and Support on Facebook. It is a free and private group there for you. Let me know what you want to hear about women's health. Again, it could be anything from nutrition to mental health to pelvic floor health to birth to menopause to perimenopause. There's so many things that we can be chatting about. And I want this to be a resource here for you. So let me know what you need here on this podcast. And if you haven't, please leave me a 5-star review so other women can find this information. I love you ladies as always, and I can't wait to see you here next week on the Balanced Momtality podcast. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day. I know you've got so many other important things going on, but I hope it was helpful and you leave here with some tools to help you in your healing journey. And I just want to ask you, if you have found this helpful, to please leave a review on iTunes. Scroll down to the bottom of my podcast page and leave that 5-star review so it can help other women see this information. And also, if you want to be a part of my community of amazing women trying to balance all the things, great tips and insight and sharing stories and just motivating each other along the way, feel free to join my Facebook group, The Balanced Momtality Wellness and Support. I hope to see you here next time on the Balanced Momtality Podcast.